Who's your favorite wrestler of all time, Kurt?
My favorite wrestler?
Yeah.
I, you know what? It's so hard to pick one. I mean, we've done this a million times, Paul. My
I know. I
Rushmore
know.
changes all the
You can
time.
just give a couple like
But
Kurt,
you
Steve
know,
Austin got you into it, right?
yeah. But
Bruno?
Steve is one of my favorites. Bruno Sammartino's up
Yeah.
there. I love Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
The Rock, Undertaker, uh, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero. I'm sorry, man.
It's all
There's just
good.
so
That's all.
many.
We get the idea.
But my favorite wrestler today is Kenny Omega. I love Kenny. I think he's doing a really good job. Uh, he is the best in ring performer right now. Him or AJ Styles.
I was going to say AJ, and I'll throw another name at you, and I want your opinion on this guy, Will Ospreay.
Oh God, well, incredible. Um, he just did an interview and he said something about me that was really cool. He said that he can't compare himself to me, at least not right now, and that was a really cool compliment. Uh, Will is every bit as good as Kenny Omega. I mean, he is really that good. I'd imagine if those guys ever locked horns, and I think they did one other time.
They have wrestled a few times,
Okay, a few times.
and but don't be. It's going to if Kenny Omega gets healthy again.
Yeah.
Those two, it's like, for some wrestling fans, I'm about ready to get myself murdered. But for me personally, like Angle, Shawn Michaels, it's like two guys that can tear it up in the ring.
Yeah, listen, they could have possibly the greatest match of all time if they haven't already. Those two together, those are the two guys that today, if I were still wrestling, I would love to wrestle. Kenny's always been my favorite, but Will is really incredible too. My hat goes off to both of those guys.
Yeah, he just had an incredible match with Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, and that's gotten a lot of rave reviews. There's always going to be haters, but yeah, for most of it's just been insane. Satanist, yes, that's his name, has a question, and he says, which WWE wrestlers do you think could actually compete with you in a shoot fight?
Oh God. You know what? Listen, all right. There are a lot of wrestlers that are badasses. Okay, Undertaker's one, Brock Lesnar's another. Stone Cold's a tough son of a gun. The Rock, believe it or not, he's a badass too. But Roman Reigns, he has to be a tough son of a bitch. He's Samoan. He played football, and he's a WWE champion that held the title for the longest reign in 25 years. Roman, you could tell that he's a real badass. I would say Roman.
In a shoot, like even in a shoot fight, you think he'd give you a run? Like
Yeah,
I'm talking about you in your
I think
prime.
Roman would give me a run for my money.
Okay.
You know what? Honestly, I don't know if I could beat Brock.
That's who I wanted to hear.
I mean, in a shoot fight, I don't know if I could get him. He's good enough wrestler to be able to defend against me, and he's a badass. I mean, he's a UFC champion, and he's a tough son of a gun. I mean, he really is. Brock is one of the toughest dudes I've ever known.
To do what he did back in the day, to come into MMA and UFC and win the world title, and
it wouldn't have mattered what sport he did.
Yeah.
It could have been basketball, could have
An
been
animal.
baseball. He's good at whatever he puts his mind to.
All right, Kurt, from Real Deal Prime, he says, Bo Nickal. I don't know if you're familiar with him. How can he
wrestler? Yeah.
How good can he be in MMA future? Thoughts on his performances? Thank you so much, champ.
Well, he's undefeated. I think he's 7-0, and he's off to a good start. What I love about him is he's never satisfied after he wins fights. He's like, man, I could have done better, but I'll take the win. He's real critical of himself, maybe too critical, but you know that he's going to be a UFC champion or wherever company he ends up in. He's going to be a champion. He's 7-0 right now. He's done an amazing job. One of the best wrestlers in U.S. history. And, he wrestled for Penn State. I believe I don't know if he ever went to the Olympics though. I don't think he has, but I think he chose the MMA route. But my hat's off to him. I think that he's going to have a stellar career, and he's going to be a champion multiple times.
Love it. Love it. Listen, we got about 15 more minutes. Thank you guys. Continue to keep throwing the questions in. Alex says, question for you, Kurt. Do you think WWE is in the Triple H era? We kept hearing the Triple H era at WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I don't know. It could be Triple H / Rock era. Rock is on the board of directors, and he's a big part of the company now. So, but you know what? Having Triple H there, listen, if I can't have Vince in charge, Triple H is next, who I trust would run the company incredibly well. I think he knows how to make the right decisions. I think he knows the business enough to know what decisions to make, and I think he would make all the right decisions. He's always had a good mind for the business, not just in the ring, but overall, business wise and everything. He has the it factor, and I think that they're going to be really successful with Triple H at the helm.
Yeah, no, there you go. I think somebody just honked at you. Maybe they waved.
No, that
maybe
was me.
Oh, speaking of cars and honking, all right, we got a question for you from Mace MP4 6 Iron. Kurt, I got a question. What's your dream car? A Ferrari, an Aston Martin, or others?
God.
Do you have a dream car that you always kind of thought, man, I could see me just strutting ass down the highway and something like that?
My favorite car, believe it or not, and my brother was a car guy, so he had this car at one point in time. It was a '66 Corvette. It was plush. I mean, this thing was immaculate. There was no scratch on it. Everything was original, and man, that thing was fast. Okay, it had like 750 horsepower. It was ridiculous, and he put like a turbo in it too. So he was able to go from 0 to 100 in like 6 seconds. It was ridiculous. But that was my favorite car that I've ever seen. And that's the car that I would love to have.
All right. Love it. Yeah. Corvette. Notorious BW